What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be kicking off a new series called Destiny 101. My goal with these episodes is to cover the basics of the game and to help not just new light players but even veteran Destiny players. In this series, we'll be covering mechanics of the game like mods, power level, activity objectives, menus. For the new light players, I know many of you struggle with the sense of direction when you're starting out, since you're bombarded with a bunch of old and new quests. These are the kind of things that I want to help people with, so if that kind of stuff interests you, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I won't be doing a long-winded intro every single video of the series, so for today's video, we're going to be covering a topic that everyone can benefit from, and that's mods. Now, mods have always been a part of Destiny 2, but when Bungie added Armor 2.0 into the game, it changed the way that we viewed mods and shifted it to more of an RPG style of gameplay where players were able to put together different builds to use. Now, there are a bunch of different mods which you can find underneath your collections tab. Now here's lesson number 1, where to find your collections tab. What you're going to want to do is hit the start button and pull up your character menu. After that, you're going to look at the top of your screen where you'll see that each page is labeled. You're going to want to head over to the left to the collections tab, and from there, you'll select the section that's labeled mods. Once you're here, you'll find every mod available in the game, with the ones that you don't own being grayed out. You'll also notice that there's different kinds of mods. Some mods have purple, orange, or blue outlines, which indicate what armor affinity that they're tied to. Armor affinity is the elemental damage displayed on a piece of armor, which can now also be changed for price. It's important to know what perks are tied to what affinities when you start to create builds. You'll also notice that there are other mods that are entirely blue. These mods are tied to the seasonal artifact. Every season you'll get a new artifact that brings new mods that will only be available during that season. One thing that you want to keep in mind is that most mods are tied to specific armor pieces, which I'm going to run through for you right now. Ammo finder and targeting perks are always found on your helmet. Reload and grenade melee cooldown mods are always found on your gauntlets. Ammo reserve and unflinching mods will always be on your chest piece. Ammo scavenger and weapon dexterity mods will be on your boots. And a variety of other cooldown mods for your grenade, melee, class ability, and super will always be available on your class item. So if you're a hunter, you'll have a cloak. If you're a titan, you'll have a mark. And if you're a warlock, you'll have a bond. Now that you know where to see the mods you have and which pieces of armor they can be equipped on, the next questions to follow up would be how to get these mods and how to equip them. So you can earn mods from a bunch of different sources in the game, and those are legendary engrams, vendor packages from turning in tokens, completing weekly challenges, but probably the best source of all of these that I would recommend is Lord Saladin. Now, for those who don't know, Lord Saladin is the vendor during the Iron Banner event, which comes around about every single month. We won't get into all the specifics about Iron Banner, but all you need to know is that it's a 6v6 multiplayer activity with power enabled, and during that event, once you complete matches, you'll be able to earn tokens, which you can then turn into Lord Saladin, who will give you packages. These packages have a very high chance of rewarding you with not just regular mods, but also enhanced mods. These enhanced mods are something you should really prioritize trying to get, since they give you added bonuses that will greatly benefit you when put into whatever build you're working on. Now, when it comes to equipping these mods, it's pretty simple. The first thing you're going to want to do is press the details button on a piece of armor to open up the armor customization screen. Once you're there, you'll notice that there's a few boxes down below that you'll be using to equip your mods into. Every single piece of armor in Destiny 2 outside of Destiny 2 Year 1 armor will have 4 mod slots for you to equip mods into. Now, it's very important that you understand which boxes use which mods. Some of you may have the question, what is this box that's asking me about infusion? Now, infusion is something that we're going to talk in depth about in another video, but just know that that is not what we're looking at for this video in terms of mods. So now you're going to move over to the next box over to the right of that, which is going to be your first mod slot. Now, in the first mod slot, you'll be able to equip mods that will boost stats and also give you damage resistance. In the following 2 slots, you'll be able to equip mods that are tied to that specific piece of armor. So for example, ammo finder perks, like I said, will always be on the helmet. So if you want to equip an ammo finder perk onto your helmet, you're going to check those 2 slots in the middle with the similar icons on them. And in each one of those slots, you'll be able to equip any ammo finder perks or any other mods that are tied to that specific piece of gear. Now, the final slot all the way to the right is the seasonal mod slot. This slot will be able to equip seasonal mods earned from the current season, 1 season prior, and 1 season after that piece of gear was released. You can earn these seasonal mods by participating in any seasonal activities. So currently within Season of Worthy, you can earn all of the Warmind mods available during this season from completing activities like the Seraph Tower public event and opening up the Warmind chest, by ranking up your Rasputin bunkers and purchasing the mods once you do complete the upgrades, or once the season is over, similar to past seasons, you'll be able to purchase them from the gunsmith Banshee 44 in the tower once they rotate into his daily stock. But now we're going to move on to some more of the specifics about equipping mods. So you'll notice that every single mod has a little number on the corner of it. This number indicates how much energy will be required to equip the mod. If you look at your armor, there's a bar titled Energy. You can upgrade this bar for a cost, and by doing so, you'll be able to equip mods totaling up to whatever your current energy bar rank is. So in most cases, I'd recommend for people to invest in whatever armor pieces you're currently using, whether you're starting out early or you're deeper into the game and you have stat rolls on the armor that you like. I'd always recommend investing at least about 5 energy to start using mods to benefit you within activities. It's helpful to be able to equip mods like ammo finder, scavenger, reserve perks, and also cooldown mods on your class items. So upgrading the energy of a piece of armor is just as simple as paying materials and getting the upgrade. Now, do note that as you upgrade a piece of armor's energy, the cost of it will increase. And at certain points, you will be required to pay with more and rarer materials. As you play more, you'll invest more into the pieces that you'll ultimately use to create your builds and ultimately masterwork. And for those who ask what masterworking is, it's basically upgrading the energy bar all the way up to 10, and by doing so you earn +2 stat bonus to all of your stats on a piece of gear. Okay, so really quickly, I just want to show you guys exactly how to put together some mods on like a basic build that a beginner can use. And you can take this same idea and use it for when you start to invest later on and you want to use more advanced mods or put together more advanced type of builds. But for now, we're going to just stick to the basics. So we're going to start off on the helmet. And you see all my pieces of gear are at 1 energy. So like I said, I'm going to recommend that you upgrade, if you're going to use a piece of gear, upgrade up to at least 5 energy on the piece of gear that you want to use a mod on. So I know a lot of people aren't going to have a lot of material. So if you know that you need ammo, or you know you need faster reload, or you know you need an ability cooldown, I recommend upgrading that piece of gear to at least 5 so you can apply the mods that you really want to make use of. Now we're going to start off on the helmet really quick, and again we're going to upgrade to level 5. So pay attention to the materials inside the box that we're going to be using. So we're going to start off with glimmer and legendary shards, and as we go up you'll see that the cost is going to increase. And now up until rank 5, all that we've used is glimmer and legendary shards. If you want to go past rank 5, you're going to have to now start paying with enhancement cores, but for now we're going to just stick with rank 5. So let's start putting some mods in. Now I was telling you that, you know, a basic setup could include anything from resistance mods, just in case you're a little bit weaker and you want to take part in another activity that's maybe a little bit higher for you. I would recommend, if you're going to use any damage resistance mods, use about 3. It gives you about a 23-24% damage reduction depending on which one you use. So you have the option between a minor, major, and a boss resist. Minors are just the red bar enemies, majors are the orange and some of the yellow bar enemies that don't have names, and bosses are the named enemies. And when I say a name, I mean like the boss literally has a name, like Gary or Bob or something like that. I'm just throwing out random names, but they actually have a name. You also have the option of throwing on any one of these mods at the top here. These will boost your stats on your piece of gear. You'll see that it says +25, but it's only a +10 boost. So keep that in mind when you are applying these mods. Now we're gonna go over here and we're gonna just equip a heavy ammo finder. I find that for a lot of people, especially some of the people I've been helping early on in the game, heavy ammo is one of the things that they need to really make use of in order to really deal some damage in a lot of these activities. So if you have a heavy ammo finder, throw that on. You don't need to worry about the armor affinity. As you see right now, I have on solar affinity. And if I wanted to, just to recap, I could go up here and I could change my armor affinity. And you will notice that if I do want to pay the higher cost of converting this piece of gear directly to a 5 energy arc or 5 energy void, you're gonna have to pay the cost of what you paid to get it up to 5 energy for solar, in addition to 1 upgrade module. So keep this in mind. If you do want to get a specific piece of armor to a certain affinity, I would make that decision more early on rather than waiting until you rank it up, because essentially you'll be paying double for that 1 piece of gear. Now we have on our 5 for the heavy ammo mod. If we wanted to add anything else onto this character, like any targeting perks or maybe another mod. You can mix and match. You don't have to use the general mods. You can use the ammo specific ones. The only difference between the two is that the generic mods tend to drop you more ammunition, but they drop less frequently than the mods that give you ammo specifically for a certain weapon type. So I personally run the specific weapon ones, but again, if it's early on and you don't have the affinity that you want or the materials, just stick with the generic mods. Now we're gonna look at this last slot right here just to go over it, and these are a little bit more advanced. I might make another video just giving some examples of some builds that you can throw together. There are builds that people make plenty of videos on. I'll link some of them down below. So let's say we have on our heavy, which is a machine gun. We already have heavy ammo finder. We're probably gonna wanna make use of a reloader perk. So in this case, I'm already running arc, which as you can see is tied to machine guns because I have machine gun loader. So I could upgrade this piece to 3 energy and equip my machine gun loader, or I could equip the large weapon loader for 5 energy, which will allow me to also reload not just my machine guns, but if I had a shotgun, I would also reload that faster as well. But as you can see, it costs a little bit more energy. So in this case, if I don't have materials, I'm gonna just rank my piece of gear up to 3 and I'm gonna equip my machine gun loader. So for this piece, I'm going to just upgrade it to 4 energy, and I'm going to equip the large arm reserves, which is going to give me more ammunition to carry for my machine guns and my shotguns if I choose to carry them. Again, you have a seasonal mod slot, but we're not going to be equipping any of those. This is the most current seasonal mod slot from Season of Worthy, which you can tell if you just read the little box there. It says it's called a Worthy Armor mod, and you'll be able to equip mods from Season 9, 10, and 11. Now we're going to finish up this build on the boots and the cloak. So again, this is arc, so I will have mods related to my machine gun, and as you can see, I have a machine gun scavenger. If you don't have one, you can equip a generic one. You also have a mod called traction, which will grant you increased mobility and allow you to have a tighter turn radius while you're sprinting. You can see that it does boost your mobility by a +5. So this is giving you some benefits to your mobility, so that's something to consider. Now we're going to just increase it 3 energy, and I'm going to equip my machine gun scavenger. And finally, on my cloak, again, this is where you'll find your cooldown mods. So this one is solar affinity. So solar affinity is tied to grenade cooldowns and gaining super energy for weapon kills with fusion rifles, linear fusion rifles, rocket launchers, and also your grenades. So what we're going to do with this one, I just want to reduce my ability cooldowns. We're going to stick with the generic mod for this one. So I'm going to increase this to 4 energy, and I'm going to equip the mod called distribution. Now distribution is a very good perk. Again, like it says, it reduces all ability cooldowns when you use your class ability. So just think, as a hunter, if you're dodging, every time you dodge, you reduce the ability cooldown for your dodge, grenade, and your melee. You can combine this with something like the bomber mod, which reduces your grenade cooldown whenever you use your class ability. So think about it like that when you are combining these mods. There's plenty of combinations, simple combinations you can use to effectively reduce a lot of the cooldowns for things that you use in the game, like a melee, grenade, super, and other things like that. So I really hope that this first entry into the series was well worth your time, and I hope you guys really learned something. I'm currently working on the next few episodes right now, so please be sure to share this video with a friend so that you can teach them something about how the mod system works in Destiny 2. If you did find this video helpful, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you have any other further questions, definitely comment down below. I always read the comments and I always try to answer everybody, so don't be afraid to comment. My current plan with this series is to release 1 video every single week, so be sure to turn on your channel notifications so you don't miss one. I appreciate you guys watching up until this point, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.